that was Steve.
You got some more ransom over there.
Sir?
You got another shirt shine.
Okay, what's your?
I thought it was, I mean, she's wasn't.
I put a name on that. It's just which one that we just said I like, Lawanda Formisano.
That parade is gonna be pretty soon, isn't it?
It's already started, I think. I was dodging some of the setup on my way in at 9 o'clock.
Oh my goodness. Which way out?
So I'm pretty sure it's already
It's gonna be downtown, isn't it?
right.
Is that St. Patty's?
Yeah.
It's his dad's birthday on the 17th, wasn't it?
With 17, I remember that.
March is on the 16th,
Okay.
Dad's on the 17th.
And I wasn't sure which was which.
I always get them confused.
Okay.
St. Patty's, Dad was born on St. Patty's Day.
Okay, that's it.
Oh,
Right, okay. St.
Okay.
Patty's Day, okay. Well, his is the 17th. That's a good way to know, remember that. Okay. See these?
okay.
I wrote your name there.
Now, see,
So now I'm gonna give each one of you one back.
Okay.
Well, you know, one thing about it, Michelle Obama made the arms out real popular. I used to
She
wear
sure
mine.
did.
I used to wear mine before she started, but she made it real popular. And belts. When we always belts and stuff, we had ours when she got hers, but she made it real popular.
Lawanda.
Okay.
Oh, what's the name? Can I tell you hello?
Shows healthy women.
Thank you.
Who's the hell's women?
She shows,
Oh, yeah.
she shows healthy women.
Albert, let me tell you hello.
Okay.
Albert.
You still get the car?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
That's amazing. At least you tell me
I'm
hello.
just back
I
on.
think about Wanda all the time.
I'm sure you do when you drive that car. Best thing you ever did.
Goodness.
Are you okay?
Careful there.
That's it.
Let's put these inside, you guys.
So you get a little closer.
Okay.
Okay, look closer. Please.
That's good right there. Okay, now, so it's the aunt that was the midwife?
Our
Or the
grandmother.
grandmother.
His mother.
Okay,
Our
okay.
grandmother.
Now, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and then tell me a little bit about you and then go into your story about your grandmother. Okay. My name is Mattie Stevens, and I'm your interviewer today, and you're the interviewees.
Yes.
Really appreciate all of you coming, and I'd like to get started, I guess, with you.
Yes.
Give us your name and
Okay. My name is Lawanda Formisano, and I am the baby, well, not the baby. I have a twin sister, which is over here. We have one brother in Los Angeles and an older sister that come here. But I'm an evangelist in the Church of God in Christ. And I'm retired now, but I retired from domestic abuse family shelter.
Okay.
I had 11 counties where I went around and I taught on relationships.
okay, now you need to spell that name.
My name is Formisano, Formisano. Lawanda Formisano, Lawanda,
Okay.
Formisano.
Okay, all right. And Mr.
I'm Curtis Moore.
I didn't get that.
I'm Curtis Moore.
Curtis.
Curtis Moore.
More,
The
okay.
baby son of Joanna Moore.
Okay,
Of the 6 children, I'm the youngest.
okay.
All have passed, but me and my sister, one is in Dayton, Ohio. She'll be 93 in April, so I'm proud of my mother and all that she have done as a midwife. So
Very good, very good.
I'm Mildred Otis. I'm the granddaughter of Joella Moore, along with my twin sister. I worked at Georgia Pacific for 39 and a half years, along with my uncle. But anyway, our grandmother was a midwife, and she delivered all of us, and she delivered between 500 and 600 babies.
Oh,
She
great.
never lost a mother,
Great.
and she never lost a child.
Great.
And she's well known. She's well known in Jefferson Davis County and surrounding counties. I attend Harvest Celebration Church of God in Christ here in Jackson, Mississippi. Our pastor is Timothy Tyler Scott Jr.
Okay, give us the name of your grandmother again.
Her name is Joella Dace Moore.
Okay, and it's
That's
Dace.
JOEELLADACE. That's the main name, Moore.
Okay, very good.
besides, if I may say, can I say it?
Yes, sir.
Besides being a midwife for 40 years, she was the first person to vote in Jeff Davis County.
Very good.
She pioneered the voting in Jeff Davis County. She's the first person to vote there.
Very good. All right. And you brought the documents, and I really appreciate that. Okay. So who want to start out talking about your grandmother?
My twin sister. Well, I'm
We'll let Uncle start
okay,
talking.
Uncle, yeah.
Okay.
I'm proud of my mother. I guess everybody else. Let me say this. This is a story I hadn't told too much. I haven't told up to my nieces. I have 3 kids. My wife, we had 3 kids. She's passed. And in 1963 was a good crop year. We never shared crop. We didn't share crop. Daddy usually did his own thing. So when my baby daughter was born in 1963, she was born in the hospital. And she stayed there for 3 days. When she came home, she was, ailing. And I didn't know what was wrong. It was my 3rd child. So we had to go to the field because during that year, the weather report said that it's going to be a bad storm coming on a few days later. And there was a bumper crop. Mm-hmm. And my dad hired people to get his crop out before the rain came. So that morning I got up and got my kids, my 2 other kids was young, got them ready, and my wife was in the bed. So she couldn't get out of bed. I went to the field, and my mother, being a midwife, I said, Mother, she said, how's yours? I said, Mother, I don't know. This was the word she said, let me go see about that gal. And she got up and put her cotton, picked cotton, put her cotton sack down, went around there, and she stayed about 2 hours. When she came back, she said she gonna be all right. And after the day was done, my wife was 2 weeks to get out of bed when I left in the morning. I thought she probably would have died if it had been my mother. The doctor left something in it, you know what I'm talking about, that wasn't supposed to leave. It was gonna kill her. And my mother went down there and cleaned her up. And when I got home that evening, my wife was up after my mother went around there and did her thing. I think that she had cooked my supper.
And our grandmother, proud of her, she prided herself in, there were a couple midwives around, and they would have babies, and the babies had the big navels. They were navels stick like a thumb stick out. And our grandmother would use a special method, and she would just make sure they had a band around her so the bellies come out really nice, and all our belly buttons are beautiful. And all the children she delivered, the belly buttons were really beautiful. She took so much pride in what she did. She had a chicken farm. We could see her now just with turkeys, and she had bud in the whole 9 yards, but she always had time for a woman in labor. And as my uncle said, sometimes they would wake up and she'd be gone for days.
Okay.
She didn't always get paid for what she did. She would charge like $20, and many times women back in those days, it was $20 a lot of money. So she worked whether they got money or not, and $20 for the whole duration of the pregnancy, not just for delivering the baby, but doing her suffering and everything. So grandmother took a lot of pride in what she did, and there was one time, it was kind of funny in a way looking back. There's a lady in, I think her name was Fanny Regan, and she had kind of went out among the people, white people, and started bad-mouthing my grandmother. My grandmother was really small, but she was really tough, and she took and beat her down, which probably is not very nice. But
Grandmother Moser like.
she was like her hair was turban tight, so she didn't take a whole lot of stuff.
She didn't back up for no.
She didn't back up, so she put a tire tube around her and just beat her down.
Yeah.
And grandmother was known to be really, really tough and didn't take no stuff, but she was just gentle and she was kind, she was sweet, and we could see her sitting back now. She loved wrestling. Sit back watching the wrestling and dipping snuff. Back in those days, women dipped snuff, so she back dipping snuff and watching the wrestling and just having herself a grand old time. Yes, and she delivered all of her grandchildren.
Okay.
And the last great-grandchild, which is our oldest sister's daughter, there was some complication with her. Our oldest sister had gotten in an accident in Chicago and had her pelvic kind of like messed up and stuff. And so grandmother had to, at the time, she was like in her 60s, maybe late 60s, 1967. 67. She had the presence of mind to call on the doctor, Dr. Dale, and they took her to the university, and Dr. Dale delivered that child. And soon after that, she stopped delivering.
Okay.
She was a tough warrior.
Okay. So now, how did she get around? Did she?
She had a car.
She had a
She had a car. She had kept a car. She kept a nice car.
Always
I think
had a
it,
car.
she had the last one she had was a red and white. It was Ford. Remember that Ford?
Chevrolet Ford.
Chevrolet Ford convertible.
All right.
You know, and so many of the women, they would come and they would get somebody they could, get somebody to bring them, because cars were kind of rare back in those days.
Right.
And so she would go to where they were, and then sometimes they didn't have a ride. She would take them, she would do what she had to do, but she always kept a ride
This
because
is
she
in
had a
the
little
40s,
money.
About every 3
right?
years she would buy a car.
This is in the 40s.
This was in the 40s.
She started
In the 40s, yeah. She started 43.
And she stopped in the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She said in her word 1970.
1970.
Okay.
Cause she, my grandmother delivered some babies. I live 15 miles from my sister, my uncle, and from my home. And in that community, 2 ladies that I know of, and they still have children living that she delivered. And we married in 1968. And grandmother delivered some of the babies, so she actually stopped delivering about 1970.
Okay.
And really back in those days, I mean, today is having twins is not a big thing, but she delivered us, being twins and stuff. So back in the day, it was kind of a big thing, especially in the country, you know,
Delivering twins.
delivering twins. So she had a lot of skills, and she was very always self-assured and very confident. Small little woman, you know, always wore galoshes on because she liked to be feeding the turkeys and stuff, you know, very thin and very tall, very small.
Did she carry a satchel, a bag or
She had a
something?
black bag.
She had a black bag. As a matter of fact, she talked about the black bag in the law book right here.
Okay.
And we couldn't quite read because she was, I think, a 3rd grade education back in those days, which was equivalent to college degree.
Yeah.
But and she had all the tools and everything.
Okay.
But unfortunately, you know, I think especially in the country, people didn't pride artifacts and
Right,
old
right.
stuff. They didn't have presence
Threw
of
that
mind to
stuff away.
preserve. They threw a lot of stuff away.
And one other thing, during that time when she mentioned that, when she would go off and she would spend the duration, you know, all the time the baby don't come when it's supposed to. She stayed there until the baby delivered. Sometimes it be almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed sometimes when we go to bed that when we wake up, she'd be gone. And a week later, she come in, maybe early in the morning, and tell her going to bed and resting the whole, because she'd be for a week with a baby, she would be tired. And what she would do is she'd lay down and rest for 2 hours.
Okay.
And she said, now I'm still a mother and a wife, and I got that duty. And I get out and do my duty. Now she said she had chickens and all that, and she got up after 2 hours of rest for being out for weeks. She got up and did her motherly duty as a wife and a mother.
Okay. Now this your mama, right?
Our grandmother, this is his
Our
mother.
This is
grandmother
my
is
This your mother we're talking
My
about.
mother.
This is our uncle.
Okay.
I'm the least. They said baby, but I'm the youngest. I'm not a baby. I'm the youngest.
She's the baby of us. She's
Yeah.
a twin, 10 minutes younger than I am. She calls herself the baby. She takes advantage of me.
Okay.
Our
So-
grandmother.
Go ahead.
Our grandmother, it was such an independent woman, as my sister, my uncle said. But our grandmother, she was active in the community. She started off with our grandfather, like as you was telling you a little earlier, going when grandfather when somebody passed in the neighborhood, she would go and get that person ready for burial.
Burial.
And because they had to, there was no embalming at the time.
Right.
And then my grandfather would build a box. And then she did quilting.
Okay.
She quilted with ladies in the community, but she sold quilts.
Okay.
Up until grandmother made quilts up until she died.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a strong woman. She died somewhat suddenly.
Okay.
And she picked huckleberries.
Okay.
She sold huckleberries.
Okay.
She would pick like 8 gallons a day. My twin sister went out with her quite a few times.
Okay.
I went out a few times. She was running some lakes. And then she picked blueberries.
Okay.
She was churn buttermilk. She
Get
sold
that
buttermilk
buttermilk,
cream.
yeah.
And then she there was several things she did. She had many turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
She always gave
Cornish
families.
hens.
Cornish hens, guineas,
Yes.
and
Okay.
hens. That was the Cornish hen, wasn't it?
We don't mean a few, we mean just as far as the eye can
And
see.
again.
We did sharecrop.
And she sold
We
eggs.
did sharecrop. And Daddy raised his own cotton and corn.
Okay.
And she helped him raise them 6 years about what she was doing, like selling eggs and butter. We milked about every morning. We milked about 6 or 7 cows.
Okay.
And we was kids. We like the cream on the milk. When
Yeah.
she raised that about her cream on her milk. Who got the cream off of my milk?
Yeah.
And she would take that cream, and make butter.
Yeah.
And we wanted most cream on our milk. We got the cornbread and milk, and we got the cream.
I love it.
And she raised everybody, who got my cream? And she sold egg to one of the biggest markets in Prince there.
Really?
She gave sold eggs to them. We got everything we ate was we raised on the farm except coffee and sugar.
Okay.
And she sold egg and got that coffee and sugar with this merchandise in Prentice.
Right.
She sold eggs and butter to those people.
And can I just make 2 points I think is kind of important? Well, one thing, keeping in mind now, where we're from, the population is we only have one red light.
And this is
that's where my mother's Prentice
Prentice.
area, and we live in like out of a rural area. We call it suburbs out from there.
Okay.
But she caught 500 or 600 babies. That was a lot of babies.
That's a lot of babies.
Just about everybody in that community, she delivered.
Okay.
She delivered personally,
Right.
and she was intrepid. Okay, she would hunt snakes literally. She was not scared of any snakes. She would hunt snakes, but she was scared to death of lizards.
She was scared to death of lizards, no
Now, that's an
snake.
oxymoron. But she would hunt snakes and scared to death of a lizard.
wow.
Amazing. Maybe
she
where they
was not-
moved
she
and
was
stuff
not
and jump,
afraid.
maybe, I don't know.
She was not afraid to pick huckleberries, and she did it all day with my twin sister. I see a snake in that tree. I'm done, I'm gone. But my grandmother was not afraid of any snake.
Not
That's
afraid.
right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She wasn't afraid of people either, because, back in those days, they had it kind of rough in town and stuff like that, but she was well respected by all the races and stuff, And so, but overall, she was a great woman. She loved her job. She had dignity. She was a church-going woman. She was a devout Christian and stuff.
Okay.
And she left quite a legacy. And we really appreciate what she stood for, and we're still eating the fruit of it right now.
That is great.
One other thing, during that time when she was in the father, when she gave them babies, she was charged $20. But most of the time, she told me when I got older, she never got a nickel. But she still did the job because she loved what she was doing.
Right.
She wanted to do it. She was inspired by her job.
Right.
Even though she didn't, sometimes she knew she wasn't going to get nothing. But she did what she wanted to do and went on. And sometimes, about half the time, she never got a nickel.
Yeah.
Never got a dime.
Right. Because those people were going, a lot of times they'd have to go in their barns and get whatever they had.
Yeah.
They didn't have
Sometimes
to,
they
right?
give us chicken, eggs, stuff like that.
Eggs. One
And
man
this-
got a mule.
Oh, yeah, we did. We had mules. We
Yeah,
had mules.
we do.
And we don't want to. We know we're talking about midwifery, but to show you how courageous a woman she was.
Mhm. But that's all about it,
Yes,
right?
we remember. We were on top of the hill. We had back in those days. We still got pretty good acreage for for blacks. And we were up there hoeing cotton. We used to chop cotton all the time.
Right.
And we'll never forget when some of the whites came from New York and different places, and they were leading her way up in the field, and they would come and guide her and led her to the pole to vote.
Okay.
They had like a couple cars, like one behind, because very dangerous, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And we remember up in the field, waving her as they passed by like she was a celebrity, you know what I'm saying? Back in those days, everybody that lived out of the town was a celebrity. But anyway, we waved at her,
Right.
and so she took a stand. And our father would, which is her son, her oldest son, he would make sure everybody voted. He would make sure he take them to the poll. People didn't have cars and stuff. He did it until the day he was killed on a tractor. I'm saying a woman with a cell phone ran into him, talking on the cell phone. But anyway, he would make sure everybody voted. He would get out there, he would espouse, they came in the day, and my grandmother had to learn the Constitution. They had to learn the Constitution
Back
backwards
then.
back in those days. They had to learn it backwards.
But she did it.
Yeah, and she was uneducated. If you saw what she wrote there, some of the stuff, we had to kind of decide for ourselves because we can't read all of it
Right.
because she was uneducated and stuff, But she was just, she was a very renowned, she was a trailblazer, which she was.
Okay.
And like I said, very intrepid.
Very
So
good.
she was just a great
See what I missed.
You likely know, Ms. Stevens, that she's listed here. She's portraited here at the Smith Robinson Museum.
Oh, is
On that
No
picture,
pictures in there,
right
yeah.
there.
It was
Right
on the
there.
wall, they took
Uh-huh.
it down, so I don't know.
It's the picture that we have.
One of
And-
these
Right.
pictures.
Uh-huh.
And when my
First,
sister was
when she
telling
first
me,
bought
she
it.
had an entourage when they took the apprentice,
Okay.
but she also, she went across API Press
Okay.
nationwide. Sure did, with that white hat on that she
Yeah.
had, that picture went across the API Press
Yeah.
nationwide.
probably
We saw it on the news that evening, so you know
And
she was
honestly,
iconic.
back in those days, she knew it because she wrote in that law book. My name is Joel. Joel, well, you read it.
Okay.
She said my name is all over America.
I know.
So even those days, she's been dead a lot of years.
Right.
It was her name was redounding out there,
Right.
and she got a chance to find out about it.
How old did she live to be?
She was 83.
87 when she died.
87. Yes,
87.
87.
So she was born in 1890.
And another thing, she was persistent.
Okay.
You can read in that book that she went there and they turned her down when she went to vote.
Okay.
She went 7 times.
Okay.
7 times and she didn't stop. She made her mind, said, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna vote.
Okay.
And she was forever persistent. And that's all through her life. Not on voting, everything else.
Everything.
She was
Persistent.
persistent. She
And
didn't. She never gave up.
And copying that book with her writing in 1978,
Okay.
she was saying that she testified against Daniel. He was one of the circuit clerk
Okay.
at the time.
Apprentice.
She went to court
Yeah,
in Jackson. She went to
when that-
court, and so it was during that time. It was really frightening, you know. When you
Yeah,
had to
She was
yeah.
on the jury. She said she was on the jury in Hattiesburg.
Okay.
He was giving some of the blacks a hard time, and she testified against him.
Okay.
Which really took a warrior to do that, because
Oh, yeah.
very dangerous then. You know
Very
that,
dangerous.
And so we don't know all the background on the history of her, everything,
Political.
her political thing, but she was very political. Her son was political. As a matter of fact, the whole family always believed in. They asked us recently, the last time we voted, which was last year, in November.
Right.
Asked me, Miss Lawanda, because we in a rural area,
Yeah.
the fire department.
Everybody knows.
Like
Uh-huh.
14,000
And said,
people in Jefferson Davis County.
We
about 14,000
know because it was late because I wasn't feeling well. We wondered where you were coming. I said, you kidding? You want my dad to come back down here? Are you kidding? We don't play that. You know what I'm saying? We gonna always vote. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? As long as we on this planet.
Right.
So my grandmother fought too hard. She came up with a
Fought too hard,
lot of
yeah.
hard knocks
Right.
to get where she was.
So she had her own home and land.
Oh yeah,
There
oh
was
yeah.
farmers. Our grandfather did the farming.
He didn't share.
hired people. They
Yeah.
hired
He didn't
people.
share car.
Right.
He shared.
We hired people
We hired people.
to.
Do your work.
Right, yes.
I'm gonna tell another story I'd like to tell
Okay.
about my dad. Now you talk about my mother.
Okay, that's fine.
This time, the first time I see my dad was a strong man. Hell, I
He
can
was a
tell you.
military guy.
I can tell you a story about my dad make a hairstyle on your head.
So that's how he was
His
able to
name
put
is
up
Warren.
with
Yeah, they were two together. My dad was
Okay.
a strong man. My dad did sharecrop. He made his own crop.
Syrup
This,
and all that stuff.
this particular year, he got through, and this white man lived down the street about a mile from me. He knew Daddy was a worker, so he wanted Daddy to work for him, but Daddy no, do my own thing. So this particular year, Daddy got through early, and this white man came and asked him to help him. He went and helped him do his crop for a week, and he promised him, I can't remember the price, but when Daddy got through working, instead of giving him the whole price, he cut him $1. He didn't really say it. But when my daddy got sick, and the first time I see my dad, first time I was a grown man, see my dad shed a tear when he said, I work for this white man. All I was doing, trying to make money to help my family, raise my family, and I look around, tears just coming rolling out his eye. That's the first time I see my daddy cry. A white man beat him out his money. And that's why he didn't work for white folks.
that
Because
sharecropping
they
was just like
Yeah,
that.
he didn't
You
work
don't
white folks.
beat 'em out.
And another thing, we talk about my mother. My granddad was a mighty man. My dad was a mighty man. My dad pioneered the search market in Jeff Davis County. He made search for white people and black people of 3 counties.
Okay.
And
He
he made
meal.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
and he made them like they wanted.
Uh-huh.
He made he told my dad how he wanted his search made, and he made if he wanted them thick.
Uh-huh.
If he wanted had a big family, you want them to last longer.
Right.
You want them thin, thin.
Uh-huh.
He would make them thin.
Okay.
And during that time, there was a little bootlegger that we making the liquor,
Uh-huh.
and he would make so much off the syrups, and he would sell this extra syrup to white people, and they would make bootleg liquor out of it. He made a lot of money out of that too. Yeah, so he was a great.
He made baskets and stuff.
He made
He
baskets.
was a basket weaver and stuff. He did a lot of stuff. And he was in,
We were blessed. We was a blessed family. I'm not bragging, but we was a blessed family.
That's
Great,
yeah,
great,
they were
great.
land.
Now, how many children did you said like 500 or so, did she
She
deliver?
said-
600. This article right, this article on what the apprentice
She
wrote
said
about
600,
her.
over 600.
It was a newspaper. She
Okay.
caught between 500 and 600 babies.
Okay, all right. And she always went to the people when they.
Always went to them.
Okay.
Cause we're rural out there and dusty and stuff, you know, so
Right.
she went to them and, people called her sometimes from different counties and stuff.
So when you say they called, they were able to
It's only a few
I guess
people,
we had-
only a few people had vehicles and stuff like in the word. So back in those days, we didn't have
Somebody had to
television, we didn't have.
send somebody
Uh-huh.
to get
As a matter of fact,
Yes.
they were the first one that get a television.
Yeah.
But they were the first one in the community to get a television. She
Okay.
was the
Always
second
had a
one.
car.
And
Okay.
people, and she always had a car. But see, they would send, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They probably
send
sent to a
somebody.
neighbor, and neighbor sent to another
Right.
neighbor like that.
Right.
And
Neighbors come and get them picked and.
then they heard about her reputation and stuff. So
Right.
people come and get, especially, it's also too in different counties, especially they had difficulty, pregnancies, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
like a breach or something like
Exactly.
that. Cause her reputation was really good. She was real steady-handed.
Right.
And she has in that article, then that book, in her own writing, where she went Lawrence County and Jefferson Davis County, and maybe perhaps Marion County, but she didn't mention those counties.
And she worked out of,
Okay, very good. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Da-da-da. Did she wear a uniform?
Yes, ma'am.
What color?
I did think, it
she
was,
probably made them.
it had a white collar, I remember that, and I believe it was light blue.
Okay,
I believe white collar, light blue.
okay.
Kind of
She-
apron type,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. something.
Cause she used to sew now.
Oh, did
She made us
clothes for
dresses.
us.
Oh, you kidding?
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
dresses.
Oh,
Oh, she was just a
yeah.
woman. She made dresses.
I remember the collar, well because they were white,
Uh-huh,
but it seemed like the dress was a light blue, seemed like the dress.
okay.
And cause back in those days, we got the materials from those flour sacks.
Yeah.
They came with the flour sacks and
Right.
stuff, and she made us some of the prettiest dresses.
Sure did.
Oh, and fancy
I
too.
remember.
She would make them. So she was very
She would
talented.
braid our hair.
Uh-huh.
She's iconic. She was legendary.
Yes, great, great. Now, did she have any tools? Do you remember any tools in that black bag? Do you remember what was in it? It was kind of like a mystery, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and she.
With a little leather black bag. Now,
As a kid, we kind of wanted to experience. Yeah, I see some of them.
You
She
saw
had something like, gauze, something like a long strip, so wide. She had some little white cups, and some kind of pump buckets there. I don't know, pumps. Yeah, I've seen them.
for the women dresses.
Yeah, she had a lot of stuff in that bag.
Yeah.
She had this little round cup, about that long, and have some strips in there, and tape. And she had this.
I never saw inside the bag.
I saw her. You know,
And it was always ready to
being
go. She
Mrs.
always
Kid, you gonna want to know
picked
what's
up
in that bag.
But grandmother, being the type of woman she was, whatever was needed, she had it. Now, we were born in 1847, and our grandma, we always knew her to have a car.
Okay,
Cause Daddy would use a car like to come to Jacksonville, but she would get one every 3 years.
okay.
And beside that, she was that
Woman
woman,
of Jericho.
Harry
Jericho.
Jericho.
She was a Harry Jericho,
Okay, all right.
whatever you call it.
That's what Harry and Jericho women was.
She was a
And men were Mason.
They
That
owned a
is
lot
great.
of land. They had cotton. They was farmers.
So you still have that land, you haven't sold it?
Oh, yeah.
They left an inheritance for us. It came through our parents, but we have land that our grandfather and our grandmother owned.
Okay, so you're not
That they
haven't
will to
sold
us.
off
Oh,
of
no.
that.
See,
Great.
what happens is when, and our daddy made it sure, if anybody sells anything or get in trouble, which so far nobody has, they're to sell it back to a family member.
Great.
You know what I'm saying?
Great.
We are not to let anybody, so it's in our wills and stuff like the word, our children. If you sell it, if you don't wanna keep it, you wanna go somewhere else, you make sure you sell it back to,
Family
family member.
Great, great.
And they
Cause
really
now
had
back in those
family.
days, it was a big thing. Now, we don't know all the history, we don't wanna get into it, but it was one of the family members came through and bought 900 acres of land. And that's how we ended up getting a lot of that land, remember? Bought all that land through there. And then some things happened to him, he ended up going to jail, they framed him or whatever. But anyway, a lot of family members got a lot of that land.
Okay.
He sold it to a lot of us, so everybody through there for
They
miles
keep
are
it.
all family members, landowners and family members.
Okay.
And we used to do cows and, we used to do,
Cows.
well, we used to do cotton and watermelon and daddy, stuff like that. But now it's all into timber now.
Timber,
Oh, it's
okay.
timber,
Okay.
So they made cane, corn, a lot of corn. Even for the cows, they had
Yeah.
big cow
Cucumbers.
farms.
Oh, yeah.
Cucumbers. And they hired
Watermelons,
people to take
that
care
type
of
of thing.
Okay.
And our father was really big. We're not talking about our father, but he was really a big landowner from his dad, because his dad worked with him. They had tractors.
Okay.
They always had a tractor.
Okay.
And we hired like 40 people
Okay.
in the community. So they really, between my grandfather and my father, this family, they worked the community people. They didn't have to go out to the community and work for the white people who work for
Right,
us.
right, that's great.
Yeah.
They
Sound like
did.
my granddad.
One other thing that I'm gonna shut up.
Well, I need to know all.
My mother, she fed the community, young man my age, she fed. When they wanted something to eat, they know something that they eat all the time. I was never, when I was off from one working in the field, I was never alone. All my friends would come to my, and besides, she let me drive the car every once in a while to town. And they wanted to ride in that car, they didn't have one. So they come there and she fed them. She treated them like they was her own. They never scold one of them unless they needed it.
Yeah. And we get up on Easter time.
We
On Easter time she would dozens and dozens and dozens of Easter eggs. She would boil for her grandchildren and stuff and color them all different kind of colors and stuff. And every time we got off that school bus, she'd have us some buttermilk, and we love buttermilk cornbread and baked potatoes. She kept food. We go in there and we start questioning and stuff.
Always something to
And
eat.
baked potatoes says to kill
And
it.
babies had baked potatoes and stuff too, and they would kill hogs all the time, and they would give all them. Everybody did. They make them big. Everybody in the community they would come there.
Every year we killed 400 to 500 pound hogs. Every year. The whole community would come and help us.
Because a lot of people were
lot of people.
unfortunate, and a couple of
It
widows.
took us all day to clean and cut the house up.
Did you guys feed your hogs slop or corn?
Yeah, we feed them.
Corn and stuff.
Corn and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's your thing.
Yeah,
All right.
one thing I want to know, you probably waiting on somebody else.
You wanna-
But one thing I want to tell you about my mother.
Okay.
Dad and when mom and dad married, they came to mom was like 6 years old when Malia and them came to Jefferson Davis County.
Well, my deal was Joel.
Okay.
And mother and mom, and she said they would go to school, then they walk to school. We
Okay.
didn't walk to school ourselves.
Yeah, we were.
And she said that grandmother Joella lived in Jordan Hill. She would come out and check their bag to see how much food they had.
Okay.
And she would put more food into the bag. Now my mother's father died when she was 12, and she was a big family.
And they were poor.
They were poor.
Okay.
And so she would look out for
Taking
them. She
care
said
of-
she would fill their bags up with the food.
All right.
And which our mom married her oldest, Joella's oldest son.
Okay.
But they raised them up because they were poor.
Okay.
And then they were widowed.
Right.
They have a family.
And one more point I want to make, and I know you bring somebody else, but our auntie, two of our aunties didn't have children. So when they
have husbands.
didn't have, they
Oh,
were
children.
married,
Okay,
they didn't have
okay.
children. Ain't Ruben, ain't Thelma. They willed the land to us.
Okay.
They gave the land to the
Kept it in the
grandchildren, it stayed in the
family.
family, so we got heirs
Very
property,
good.
inheritance from our grandparents.
Very
As a result of them.
So God's been mighty good to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
You can tell we stood for our family.
All right. So now this is one of the.
That's my husband.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Well,
Yes.
thank you
He's an
so
educator. He used to be a principal, but he had a stroke and
Okay.
stuff. So.
And that book there, that book that
This Bible?
mother had written,
That
that
was
was
a
a
law
law
book.
dictionary. When
The
he
law.
had, when he
Yeah,
got,
Black's Law.
when he
Okay.
got one of his master's, he got 2 master's degrees, he got one at Jackson State. He was close to my grandmother.
Okay.
And we were, of course, but he would go down every 2 weeks. He was real crazy about her, because she was a very intelligent lady. And anyway, she gave him money for a gift when he graduated from Jackson State.
Okay.
But he was an older man, he was working, but anyway, he bought the gift, that book, and he took it back down to her, and she wrote in the
History.
book,
Okay.
history.
Very good.
Yeah, real good history there about a midwife. And
Okay. I will be reading that. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, bless you, bless you.
Okay. All right.
Hey, all right. Well, thank you, Ms. Stevens.
You're quite good.
Wait,
She gonna read through.
we gonna.
You gonna read those?
Okay.
Okay, I can get it back to you, Kevin.
You can, right.
Okay,
Right.
all right then. I need some addresses.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see. There's some paper behind you over there.
Okay.
Behind you. Look on the
Right here.
And plus they
Yeah.
got one of those, and they got one of those pictures of her too.
Yeah, take another sheet. I think that's someone's
Okay.
release form there.
Okay, let's really, down here, let me see.
Where it's folded together. Yeah, just bring it to me, and
That way.
that way I can keep it separate from everything else. Let's see. This right here. Find your sheet in there.
You want us,
Just find your clean space and give
Okay,
me
right, all
give me
right.
your address.
Okay.
Mhm.
You gonna keep those and send them back to us, right?
Right. Okay.
Those pictures, those laminated belong to me,
Okay.
and I really want them back. 'Cause I
You want them back?
I want to
Okay.
keep them.
All right. Thank you so much.
okay, Uncle Curtis, what is your address?
5161
51, 61.
Highway 13.
I got Curtis.
Okay,
And he's the son of
Don't
Joel.
worry.
Yeah, he's the son and we're the grandchildren. granddaughters.
3965.
And then we have another, she's not here, but she's gonna come, as a matter of fact, but she's a minister too. Her name is, the oldest one is Betty Drummond. Betty, B-T-T-I-E.
Curtis Howard, right?
M-M-O-N-D.
Oh,
M-M-O-N-D.
Number of family children down,
She's the oldest grand.
you know,
His name is Rowan.
but how many she had? She had 6 children.
Yeah, 3 boys, 3 girls.
somebody else can give her children.
He's retired.
Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Cause she started in
They
1943.
started 1943. I was 10 years old.
He was 1933 baby. So, don't know how many children she had.
Bassfield area, but in Prentice.
And in that book, you're gonna find that too.
Find schools. A lot of people don't like it, but then, money's kinda tight everywhere.
Okay, that's Uncle Curtis, that's his son, I'm gonna put son, okay?
Yeah, only, a lot of people don't like it.
The one was my twin sister over there.
Instead of being the Bulldogs and the yellow jackets, you know, the yellow jackets. won
Now, if you, tell us no, you want to pick it
Now
up,
they call it
come to Jackson sometime when I be able to come by.
They call it.
Just come by, they'll open Wilkes, how many days a
It
week?
is interesting, but unfortunately, we use history.
Yeah, like if the book you want to mail it back, we can probably pick it up here.
Okay.
We can just come by.
And who you with?
If they, all right, my ass said that. Okay, hers is 5'2".
Yeah.
Okay, his is
You
6'1".
enjoy it?
I do.
It's,
I get to learn different stuff. I like
Yeah.
work. She's my aunt, so.
okay, and you meet people and stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
9'6", Uncle Curtis, one 5'2", 8'7".
It is so important. Ain't no new rodeo, is it?
Cause ain't nobody else gonna do it. We know.
Highway 13.
A lot of young people like to feel that way about it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
She's over here also.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is another county. We don't live in that county.
We like this large rifle back in the day.
And her number is 601. This is granddaughter.
Weed those baskets.
No twin.
Cut that, not cutting that tree down. and
One of our
take down the
twins
tree and
at that time.
taking that stuff and.
So we became stars. Everybody wants to see Buddy and Frankie's twins, even when he got grown.
What you do?
I just take pictures and I'm documenting.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You live
She's a
in?
documentarian, that's what you are.
There are a lot more now, I think.
Documentary.
Well, you are.
4788.
You.
Okay.
You're making history, documentary,
That's right.
You're a professional, right?
601
You can I just
522
take me for a while. So yes,
Yeah.
9327.
That's what you wanna do?
And who's at the email?
I'm looking at it.
That's gonna be me.
Well, that's what you wanna do, you claim it.
Yes, ma'am.
God is the kind of God, like that, he'll do it too.
I make a claim, okay?
That's right.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
LTRE.
But yeah, they used to take the inner tubes, it's lost so much.
Right, real.
Like the tube
Auntie
part,
named
they don't
us
have
one
the
Ohio.
tube is now, but back in the day.
This is on the twin
They cut
granddaughter.
them up and then redo those chairs,
We have a
raise those
sister
chairs,
girl.
see them now.
We had supposed to have been here today.
Maybe somebody wanted
So
to
it's
see
4.
in our day.
Granddaughter, it's 4 of us.
We don't.
Uncle Curtis had 3
We don't.
children.
The only, as a matter of fact, I
Granddaughter.
moved to
And
Los
they were all
Angeles,
different,
and when I came back, my grandmother.
just about
dead.
during that
And
time,
all
I
that
stopped.
stuff, she got
I
a few
don't think, I
things
was
in
been in
my
hers
sister's
work
house and whatever.
See, we working at
A lot
Georgia
of stuff
Pacific, the
was
insurance.
And I got one coat.
It's really good.
Right.
And so nobody, if you had good insurance, like it was like, both of us worked, Mark and me. Nobody went through that lot, they had insurance like we had.
Right.
That's when you had the
It's
best
still, you
everything.
live in rural areas.
You didn't pay any premium, you didn't pay any
You
bills.
learn from other people and you.
Mine was 292.
It's no excuse, but your environment is larger, so you think larger, so to speak, and you see larger, right? But see, when you live in a rural area, like sometimes, if somebody come and show you something more
That
excellent
was
way,
so creepy.
or show you something different, your mind don't go
Can you read that?
that big, right?
Yeah.
So I'm saying,
When you
so
said
appreciate
Silver Creek,
certain
okay,
things
that's-
that you appreciate until you get old enough to get exposed to it. And that's when you appreciate it.
And this is M601
She was saying something about the book that you were looking
792.
This book, you know, this book was a law book.
for. Blackstar book, I
That's
seen
home.
when it was over here.
It's real old, but,
This is sale.
but,
601 66
our grandmother,
669 272. Now, this is from Mildred.
now this is our grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
She should, she saved
I
it.
read it.
And it's okay, this thing is too heavy, to have a pork condition.
Yes, ma'am.
She just wrote some stuff, she gave it to her.
These are all
he was,
small, small.
Get his master's Jackson State. She wrote some
Yeah.
stuff in there. It's right over here. She wrote that, and,
Can you read that?
Third grade.
Yeah.
Okay,
You start reading
And I
when
was
she was
the man
finish
you
third
speak without
grade.
right
I
up, the babies and stuff.
Okay, all right. Okay, okay. All right.
That's what she said.
Okay, thank you very much.
She
Appreciate
said
it very much.
no.
It's been a joy, that's right.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Give me, take this chair back.
Oh, leave it here in case you need it.
Leave it there, just
She
in
got
case.
some of this one.
We'll move it.
I didn't, it didn't take.
So you enjoying your job?
Right.
She take a picture, right?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I don't know what this is. I think,
Oh, you want a copy?
I think that
You
this
got a laminate sheet here?
Curtis Moore, Uncle Curtis stuff was in there with grandmother's,
Oh, okay.
with grandmother's, pictures, I think it's her voter's picture. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna, that's the picture that's in the
Okay.
museum here.
Thanks so
She's on
much.
the internet.
She got the.
You're lovely.
Thank
She gonna
you.
bring them back.
Sister Maddie.
Yeah.
She gonna bring them back to you.
Okay, she gonna bring it back.
She gonna
Okay,
bring them back,
okay.
But then we appreciate everything you did,
All
and God
right,
bless
and I
you.
really
Much
appreciate you
success for
guys.
everything you do. And in
Thank
the
you.
name of Jesus, we're claiming your healing.
Thank you, ma'am.
In the name of
Yeah,
Jesus.
all right. Okay, you're welcome.
Miss Stu?
Okay. Stevens.
Stevens, Maddie
Right.
Stevens.
Steven, oh, Miss Steven.
Right.
Stephen, and God open up more doors for you.
Yeah.
That's what you want to open. Grand doors,
I'm
big
blessed.
doors. Yes. You have choices. It's a-
Yeah,
it's
thank
the Lord
you.
place you in a place to make a difference. And you are.
Thank you.
Bless you.
We sure appreciate you.
She's gonna bring it back to you, okay?
Okay,
We
thank you.
really appreciate you just let us talk about grandmother.
Yes.
Curtis' mother.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
You know, we don't get a chance to have all these good stories told.
You know, we were saying that, Black history, we need to have some people that like us, our age,
You're right.
that live Black history.
Right.
And talk about some of the things, the slop jobs, you know what I'm saying,
Exactly.
and the outhouses,
Uh-huh.
and catalogs, and you know, that type of thing.
So young people will understand
Yeah.
that everything didn't just fall out the store.
They did not, that's right. It was hard work, a lot of sacrifice.
Right.
A lot of sacrifice, and everything was about money.
Right.
It was
Because
about
they think everything's about money.
No, that's, we talked about it earlier, but it's not.
It's not.
Is that what you thought? And you've already lost, you've lost the race already. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Money's good, but it has its place, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Can't-
Relationships are important.
Look, you can't take it with you.
You can't take, you know, that's right. And we need each other.
That's right.
That village thing has always worked, especially back in the day.
And
It
it
always
still-
will work.
Always will.
That's right. Bless you now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Y'all have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll be in touch.
Okay. This is a nice